So it happened. It finally bloody happened. We've been talking about it for an awful long time. I thought Good Friday, day off, bit of R&R, this will be lovely. And then WWE go and pull this one. Thanks a lot, Vinny. Let's take a look at the headline, shall we? A WWE tag team has been released. A top Raw superstar is to be kept off of television. And which WWE commentator is considering a return to wrestling? We'll tell you who in a bit. Come on then. Let's get on with it. You know who this video is going to be about. Dash and Dawson, the Revival, have officially been released by WWE. Mere minutes ago, at time of recording, WWE releasing the following statement on their website. Effective today, Friday, April 10th, 2020, WWE and the Revival have agreed on their immediate release from WWE. We wish them all the best in their future endeavours. This has been an absolute saga. This has been going on for well over a year. At this point, the fact that Dash and Dawson have been creatively unsatisfied, frustrated with their position in WWE since being called up to the main roster. We were all very excited to see them head up from NXT, but once again, it's one of those call-ups which was very, very frustrating, to say the least. They were one of my favourite tag teams in NXT, and then they get to WWE, and after a little while, they're shaving each other's backs, and just, they had no idea what to do with them, did they? They really didn't get them. So this is really exciting. So there's so much to talk about here, so I'm going to try and keep it as quick as possible. It's been obvious that Dash and Dawson have been unsatisfied. This stems back, or this really intensified, back in 2018 when Dash tweeted, "One day we'll wrestle the Young Bucks and everyone will rejoice. Remember this tweet." That tweet was deleted, but we all remember it, and it's a match that we've been absolutely clamouring for, a match that it appears that we might get sooner rather than later. Moving on from there, WWE, as I say, they quickly, they didn't use Dash and Dawson well on the main roster. Then Dash and Dawson requesting their release. That release was turned down. They ended up being offered a significant amount of money to stay with WWE. It's been reported as close to $1 million each to stay with WWE. But it's clear that creative integrity and actually wrestling are more important to Dash and Dawson than that money. And that's really, really great to see, because I think they're going to do great things wherever they pop up. Where will they pop up? Well, there's one obvious answer, right? And that's AEW. However, I would suggest that we won't see that match, we won't see them pop up in AEW for a little while yet. My assumption is that they've done the same thing here that they did with the now Brody Lee, the former Luke Harper. So he was released, but he had 90 days in which he couldn't compete. That no-compete clause was there, which made it look initially like WWE were being lovely, right? Like they were being good guys, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're not going to use Luke Harper, so yeah, let him go and spread his wings somewhere else. But because of that 90-day no-compete clause, it pretty much took him up to the time that his contract would have expired and he would have left anyway. So in reality, it probably actually saved WWE a little bit of money to do that, and I think that's what's happened here with Dash and Dawson. Reports had circulated that their contracts expired in the summer, so if they've been released today, that probably takes you up to the summer, so it's made no real impact at all, and as I say, it's probably saved WWE a little bit of money. They'll almost definitely go to AEW next. They'll almost definitely have some spectacular matches in the AEW tag division. They've registered various trademarks relating to in-ring names, merchandising, intellectual property opportunities that are going to be presenting themselves very, very soon. So I can't wait for that to happen, but the 90-day no-compete clause, which you've got to believe is there, combined with the fact that AEW have already taped loads and loads of Dynamite, which means that, and we're fairly sure that Dash and Dawson won't have appeared or have been recorded as part of those tapings. So I would suggest that this is going to be 90 days. So it's going to be a bit of a wait. We'll see. Dash and Dawson haven't commented since WWE put that statement announcing their release up. They haven't commented on Twitter or anything like that. The last thing that Dawson said, this was about 18, 19 hours ago, on Twitter, guys, for shoot. Even if you called us boring or said we had dad bods or no charisma or can't cut a promo, I love all of y'all. Professional wrestling has always been my dream. Y'all made it possible. #FTR, which I think is another trademark that they registered as well. Dash Wilder, the last thing that he has said on Twitter, was replying to a user who said Gable was the one who thought of the Shorty G gimmick. He quote retweeted that, saying, "This has to be satire, right? You're joking. Because if not, you're embarrassingly wrong." Once again, drawing attention to the fact that WWE don't know how to use incredibly gifted wrestlers. I don't want to just sit here and bury WWE, but man, Dash, Dawson, Wilder, Gable, 3 guys who have been woefully misused. And hey, Shorty G, Gable, maybe you can head over sooner rather than later too. We'll keep you updated, but I think it's going to be a while before we see them on our screens, but I can't wait to see them again. One of the best tag teams in the world, without a doubt. And we're probably, this year now, going to get Bucks versus Revival, or whatever they're called now. What are they going to be called? Oh man, they did register the name and everything. D. Wheeler was one of them, right? He's D. Wheeler now. David Wheeler? It's going to be some good matches. Next up, a top WWE Raw superstar is reportedly going to be kept off of television to sell his demise at WrestleMania 36. I am, of course, talking about AJ Styles, who was buried alive in the Boneyard match with The Undertaker. A wonderful cinematic experience that was. Dave Meltzer commenting that they're going to keep him off TV to protect the buried alive stipulation. It doesn't specify how long the WWE are going to keep him off of TV. However, it's speculated that it won't be for too long because they are so short of people on the roster that they can actually get to their tapings. We still don't know the exact the specifics of how these tapings are going to occur. It's believed that they're still going to be using the Performance Center. Thanks to some sort of loophole, they're allowed to continue doing that, but who knows what additional restrictions are going to be put in place and whether that will continue or not. But yeah, don't expect to see him on your screens for a little bit longer, I guess. But I would suggest that it's only going to be a few weeks. I mean, he's very, very useful to have. AJ Styles is obviously great. And if you really want to sell the buried alive stipulation, I guess you'd have to keep him off of TV forever because he was buried alive and then died in kayfabe, right? So it's not going to harm it too much to not see him for a little bit. But yeah, you know what I'm saying here. AJ Styles was quiet for the first few days following WrestleMania. Almost dropped my laptop there. But he tweeted a couple of days later just saying, "I'm alive" on Mixer. So he was playing some games on there, changing it from live to alive. It was very good, Alan. I like that a lot indeed. So yeah, he's fine. Wipe the sweat from your brow. AJ Styles, Alan, will return to TV. We don't know when, but I would suggest it's only going to be a few weeks because it's AJ Styles and he's handy to have about. Next up, WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view has been cancelled. Or at least the pay-per-view, which was scheduled to take place in front of a live crowd, has been cancelled. So this was originally due to take place in Baltimore, Maryland. However, the venue releasing the following statement: the WWE Money in the Bank event, originally scheduled for Sunday, May 10th in Baltimore, has been cancelled. Refunds are available at all points of purchase. WWE haven't commented on this. I suggest they're not doing so because they're still going to want to hold the event in some form, and they don't want to create any confusion as to how that's going to take place. So they'll probably just email anyone who has bought tickets to say, hey, it's not happening in Baltimore, but you can still watch it live on the WWE network. That's possibly what's going to take place here. It's believed that WWE is still going to be running shows from the Performance Center, as I mentioned earlier. And yeah, it's one of those pay-per-views which is difficult to do with no live crowd. Every pay-per-view is difficult to do, but the Money in the Bank matches especially so. But think back to WrestleMania 36, which was less than a week ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. Anyway, think back to that. And one of my favourite matches, and maybe you agree here, from that whole weekend that wasn't taped in a spooky way outside of the Performance Center, was absolutely the SmackDown Tag Team title match featuring not tag teams. Jimmy versus John Morrison versus Kofi was, for me, one of the top 3 matches of the weekend. It was really, really fantastic. It was brutal. You could tell they were really going all out because there was no crowd there, but it worked. And then this week on NXT, we saw another ladder match, a number one contenders match for Charlotte Flair's newly won NXT women's title. And that, once again, while arguably not takeover quality, was still bloody good. Still really enjoyable. So WWE can make this work. Who knows what the card's going to look like? With the availability of some WWE superstars, who knows? Time will tell. It will be interesting. SmackDown is going ahead tonight. I'm going to be live streaming it. If you want to come and join me, youtube.com/cultaholic/live. There's the plug. Yeah, it's going to be another interesting few weeks of TV. Stay tuned. And finally, which WWE commentator has said that he is considering a return to professional wrestling? Is it Jerry the King Lawler, who WWE will never let wrestle in one of their rings again because he literally might die? No, it's not. It's okay. Still wrestles on the indies. Not a problem. Is it Michael Cole, who is undefeated at WrestleMania? Thankfully not. The man that we are talking about today is Corey Graves. Interesting. So Corey Graves, talking on his podcast After the Bell, his guest was Edge. And they got to talking about Edge's return to wrestling at the Rumble, his subsequent match at WrestleMania 36 against Randy Orton. And Graves said, watching it, honestly, man, it was inspiring. I would say at 2 or 3 different points, I went, man, I live in Pittsburgh now. I should go find Dr. Maroon. It gave me that urge to do this all over again, and I don't know whether or not that's a possibility, but the thought was planted in my brain for quite some time. Would I like to see Corey Graves return to wrestling? I'm not really that sure. There'll be people watching this video right now who don't even realise that he used to wrestle, because he never made it to the main roster when he was down in NXT. You know, really, really decent wrestler and everything, but he quickly had to transition over to commentary because of concussion issues, health issues, and that's a role that he's really sort of found himself in. I think he's really, really good. When he's not being overproduced, or when he's not incessantly bickering with whoever else is at the commentary table, detracting from the in-ring action, then Corey can be great. And I actually saw him wrestle in the UK. In Portsmouth, I think it was, Sterling James Keenan, he was known as then, and he was a great wrestler. But I'm not sure, I'm just not sure that I'd really like to see it again. Like, what do you do with him? I'd be more than happy with him working some sort of physical angle with whoever, like getting trashed at the commentary desk. Maybe that doesn't work too well when he's a heel, but an unstoppable monster trashing him and doing something very physical to him could be cool. But as far as a match, like, you think about Corey Graves, is there a dream match that springs to mind for you? Because there's not for me. Screw it, give him Michael Cole. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful Good Friday, and take care over the weekend. Have a wonderful time. All the best.